When trying to graph the inverse of this function, which was the square root function, we have to be careful. The inverse of this function is actually a parabola because it was an x squared. Now, we do have the domain restriction that it is only x greater than 0. We are not graphing another square root and then switching it. So we do not want to use this graph. We actually want to use the parabola graph. And so notice that my vertex will still start at -1 here, and I will go upward, and then I will go through this point to be the opposite. Now, the problem is that I only want my domain to be greater than 0. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to grab my snipping tool, and I want to snip from this point right here, starting at 0, -1. So I do 0, -1, and I plot that point, and then I'm going to grab my eraser, and I want to erase this half of the graph. So now you will notice that I have this half of my parabola. I do no longer have the other half of my parabola. So whenever you're trying to graph the inverse of a square root, you have to actually graph the parabola and then cut off the other side of that parabola.